What's up, Slice and Dicers? I'm back, but we flipped the script. Yeah, I'm having a lot of computer trouble, so my brother was good enough to step up and do the recording for me this week, which is great. So all I have to do is just be entertaining and set in the different corner of your screen.
No,
So,
no, you're. I've positioned you right dead center.
oh shit, I am special. That means a lot. That's how you know your brother really loves you.
Oh yes.
But I've been very busy at the end of school year and stuff, and so I'm going to fix this computer issues this weekend. We're actually having a D&D session, so hopefully I'll have our super smart friend Anthony come and maybe fix it, and I'll just stare at him like I did something or accomplished something. That's generally what happens. Um,
Advantages of having a computer engineer as a friend.
exactly. So this week's episode is on traps. Was it traps, riddles, and hijinks?
Puzzles and hijinks, but
Puzzles and
riddles is a
hijinks.
good one to throw in there as well.
Oh, exactly. I think this is one of the things where a lot of people, when they do D&D, like a rich story. And for story time, which actually I'm going to do story time today,
Ooh.
I just want to talk about some examples of some of my favorites. The first one I'm going to bring up is my groups always hate my riddles. I go out into the delves of the internet, or I come up with them on my own, and I come up with clever little riddles with one answer typically, and I like to throw things at them. One of my puzzles I did actually was they were all floating on top of this pillar that was being held up by six chains, and the door wouldn't open until they got all the riddles right. But for every riddle they got wrong, they didn't know how many there were, one of the chains would snap, slowly throwing the balance of the thing off and scaring the shit out of them. So my group was not a riddle group, which is hilarious because I play with a very educated D&D group. You know, everyone in my group has college degrees. Most of them are very intelligent, good test takers. Riddles, maybe not their strongest suit.
It's always interesting to give riddles to a party because it's either they know it immediately or they're never going to get it in a million years, and you've just party wiped them.
Oh, exactly. Something is so simple um, as like
Water.
water, you know, or fire, like always hungry, consuming all. Only water will make me fall. And everyone was someone 95% of the population will hear that and go, fire. But other people would be like, oh, what is it? And they take it, usually it's because they've taken it too far. They're like, but it can't be fire. That seems too simple.
Maybe
You know,
sand?
14 guesses later, they're like angry. The whole group's mad. Everyone just wants to walk away from the table, which makes it sound like you don't want this. But no, riddles are great. They're a great alternative to combat and puzzles.
They're a
And I,
good way. They're something you gotta implement depending on your party composition. Some parties can't handle it. You gotta
oh
know
yeah,
your party to know what obstacles you can give them.
oh yeah. Now leading into puzzles, I've got two famous examples of puzzles here that I've thrown with my group, and I just thought I'd share. One of my favorite puzzles actually comes from an online web series. So, and I'm sure they stole it from somewhere else. But have your group enter a room, doors all closed, no way out, one small column in the center of the room with a red button on top. The ceiling is lots of angry, just not happy, aggressive looking spikes. They walk to the center of the room.
Covered in blood, maybe a skeleton hanging from them.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like, obviously, bad shit going to happen to you. They walk to the center of the room. They press the button because there's nothing else to do. Spikes start coming down. All right. They're going to panic. They're not going to know what's going on. They're going to freak the hell out. They're going to be trying to, like, figure out, how do I get out? Is there a way to disable this mechanism? Can we hold the spikes up?
Is there a
It
secret
just,
button somewhere?
secret doors. Anything they try fails. They are like freaking the hell out at this point. They are like, oh God, finally. And it sometimes takes a group 20, 30 minutes and maybe more I've had with some groups. They just accept it. They all just lay on the floor and accept they're going to die. When the spikes get just about to touch them when they're laying on the floor, they hear a pop, spikes go up, the door on the opposite side of the inn opens. Only by essentially
Accepting
accepting their
death.
fate is the riddle solved. Great puzzle.
Only works once.
Only works once. And if anyone's ever had that puzzle happen, they're like, shit, guys, just don't touch anything. Everybody lay down. But if you've never had it, or if your group members probably haven't had that, it's a cool puzzle to throw at a group just to see how they react. Because they're going to get so mad at you as the DM. Because they're going to be like, what the hell are you doing? This is ridiculous. I don't understand how you give us a puzzle that there's no solution to.
Yeah, and a good thing to go with it, to sort of build the tension, have like a timer, or like handle it as you're going through like initiative and rounds, and each round the spikes move, and so everyone has to think on their feet, and you're not like, oh, we've been thinking for 10 minutes, but it's only been 5 seconds. Because we've been...
Exactly. Timers are great. Like, get yourself a little egg timer, which is fun. Or I like to go online and buy little hourglasses, and you can get them in different increments, little sand timers. So you can get like a 5, a 10, a 15-minute one. And if you're going to throw your group into a scenario, a puzzle, and it's going to be a time, like sand's flowing into the room or something, use that. Because it's sort of cool for the group to like look at that and have like a mild a bit of panic stricken their body because they can see that sand grain racing against them.
Yeah, water flowing into a room, you know.
Awesome ways to do it. Another one is just don't have, have your answer in mind, but don't be a dick. If your group figures out some way to circumvent or ultimately fix your puzzle or a different way that makes sense, don't say it doesn't just work because you're pissed off they figured out a way to solve it.
At the same thing, if you know they're never going to solve it, I mean, they've been struggling, help them along.
Give them a hint.
Yeah.
Like if your group is like, they can't figure it out, and all of a sudden you're like, maybe you all just accept your fate and see what happens. Like with the puzzle earlier with the spikes and the button. Maybe you guys it's time for you to accept your fate. You didn't tell them that's the solution, but you sort of told them that's the solution.
Yeah.
Unless you're a real dick and you're like, oh, now the spikes come down and crush you. I killed my group. So, you remember, this is not a competition. You as the DM are never supposed to be trying to kill your party. If you're doing that, you're DMing wrong. Because this is supposed to be about storytelling, camaraderie, social experience. It's not a competition. If you are sitting here right now and you're saying, but I thought I was supposed to kill my players. No, you're not. You're doing it wrong, and you probably don't have a consistent group because of it, unless you have some people who love pain.
Granted, if they make a mistake that leads to their death, or just a death happens, sometimes death happens randomly, lucky crit. Someone falls down a chasm because they tried to jump it.
I'm not saying don't kill them if they do something stupid. What I'm saying is don't set out to kill them.
Yes.
That should never be your goal. You are the god of your world. If you want to kill them, just have a Tarask wander into the bar they're in, like destroy the roof and rip all the shreds. I mean, you have that power. But if you do that, your group's not going to enjoy your storytelling, and they're not going to come back. And this thing that's become an amazing social experience is just going to wither. Just like your social life probably already has, if that's your perception on how this game works.
Well,
we've all seen those people who like live in their parents' basement and they're like, yes, I'll bring him over and show that I am the all-powerful God. Like that person is probably the person's already hit their spiels on social protocol. But do you have anything to add to that, Oliver?
At the same point, death can be a super useful tool. I heard of one campaign where a similar thing happened, where starting turn, everyone got killed. But then they were brought back as a necromancer, and it was an undead campaign. So, it's an interesting way of handling. None of the players knew that they were going to be killed at level 1 by, I think it was like storm giants at level 1.
Hello, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You really have to think about what you want to do for a session. And you're
Think
creature
about how your
encounter.
players
We
are going to
talked about
respond to.
exactly. We talked about creature encounters a lot. It's easy to be. You enter a room, there's 6 goblins. Kill the goblins. But there's some really fun puzzles, and they don't have to be hard to solve. Our DM for our group right now, because I'm getting ready to take back over as DM, but one of our players is taking his spiel at DMing. Last session, he made it so the door was slammed closed. We couldn't figure out how to get through the door. We saw the statue earlier. We went in, we manipulated the statue. It opened its arms. Surprise, surprise, the door was open. Um, it's something simple like that that just took a little bit of problem solving and thinking.
That puzzle took quite a while. I mean, the solution is we had to cast a spell on the statue, which identifying, reading the messages, they're pretty vague. But once we kind of figured it out, we just kind of like, what the hell? Try this, and suddenly it worked or something. I can't remember if we cast like light on it or create water or something.
Okay, now sort of into the encounter for today is how you can handle different things and how you present them for the group. So what I'm going to say now is there's a bunch of different ways to solve a riddle or a puzzle or everything else.
Consider your Bayo.
Exactly. What is it, big ass orc?
Yes, or I guess this would be better to go with the big dumb orc.
The Bado?
Yeah.
Sounds like it's going to clean my butt.
Hey, might.
But anyway, no. Yeah, I mean, your character that takes things way too literally. You're like, you walk into a room, there's a clever system of levers and pulleys and a rope system, and like, I slash it with my sword. I beat the wall down. That's one way your group can be.
Sometimes it's super useful to have one of those in your party. One that stumped and annoyed my players is I had this complex mechanism, and on the opposite side of the room there was a door with lights above it. This complex mechanism, they like pulled levers, pushed buttons, and it changed the different lights, and they were trying to figure out ways so all the lights are on, and they were struggling at it for like 10 minutes, and finally someone just walked over and the door was unlocked the entire time.
See, that's great, because it's just literal. There wasn't a big overarching puzzle there, but you made it present like one, yeah. So they freak the hell out.
What if they would have figured it out? I mean, yes, they would have been able to get through the door, and I probably would have given them something at the end for figuring out the puzzle, but the puzzle was meaningless.
They probably spent like 15 minutes, didn't they?
Yeah.
See? Sometimes just keep it simple, stupid. Kiss. We do something, but we throw in that necessary, the shiny colors and peacock feathers, and all of a sudden people are like, what are we going to do to solve this? When all they got to do is just open the door. But I mean, I think that's the one way. There's a very just straightforward approach to solving a puzzle. Then you're going to have some people in your group who are just overly anal about how they solve everything. They're going to want to list all the options and overarch this. I've never had this issue, but I've seen people have this issue. My group is never like, well, guys, there's 14 possible hypothetical solutions. Let's start with the most probable and go to the least probable. I haven't had that, but I've seen it as an element in D&D. And every party and system is different. So your biggest thing as a DM there is be patient. Not everyone's going to solve things the way you think. And sometimes
certainly the way you think and the way you would approach the problem, your players may never see that. They may never get to your way of thinking. And you have to accept that as a DM.
I think my group of friends laughs at me because sometimes when I'm a player and not a DM, I'm just way too honest and friendly with the other people I encounter. Like in this recent session, we had to go collect information. I walk up to the guy I've never met in my life, and I'm just like, here's the deal. We need to find this priceless artifact, and it could be really bad, and these people who are bad want it, and I'm just going to explain everything about our position to you. And the people at the table are like, what the hell are you doing? You're volunteering so much information. But sometimes when I'm playing a lawful good character or a general and neutral good character or anyone who I feel like was going to look at life with rose-colored glasses, I don't feel like I have to be so, you know,
Sneaky.
worried, sneaky. I just want to solve it. On a side of front, one of Oliver and I are playing in a group on Roll20 on Tuesday nights. We met this guy, had one small minute clue that he might be lying. Turns out we ended up just like, you know, beating him into telling us, well, not directly beating him. We basically outsmarted him and got reasoning point, drug him from the cabin, and we drug him from the group, and I ended up shooting him in the leg, which maybe I was a little bit quick to act, but he tried to run away, so it's fair. But I mean, like, so I can do things from alternate things. You as a player need to know that there's multiple ways to solve an issue. That comes with experience role playing. You as a DM have to know that your group is going to figure out a whole different way to solve it every different time.
Yep. I think we've reiterated that several times now on Slice and Dice.
Oh yeah, I know we said in Slice and Dice. I literally, it should say, if we make T-shirts, they should say Slice and Dice. Think of shit, they're going to do it a different way. That would be what our shirt would say, because, I mean,
that and you got to be smart to be dumb.
You got to be smart to be dumb. Or my personal, don't roll too many ones, but that's okay.
Yeah. Let's see.
But
and,
I mean, then,
like I said, there to just sort of give like templates. We've given some ideas for puzzles, but oftentimes it's hard to assume everyone's going to know common knowledge. Like, one of my hardest ones, where I literally had like someone get up and was pissed because he couldn't figure it out, was the simple rainbow RGB puzzle.
Yeah. Was it Anthony? He is colorblind. That would have been fucking mean. But
he's colorblind, but he was not the one.
I know. I'm just messing. No, I'll give you an example. One of my friends back when I lived in Little Washington told me stories of them DMing. And he had a puzzle, and they figured out a way to solve it that he wasn't expecting. He got so mad he flipped the table. Never do that. It's just negative. It's toxic. Listen, we already deal with the stigma for saying you're a D&D player. I love it when I say I'm a D&D player to somebody who I feel like might find that interesting, and they give me this look like, oh, sweetie.
Washing up that Dungeons Diamond shit.
That Dungeons and Dragon Demon shit. No, I mean, listen. I think the biggest thing you got to take is there's going to be alternative ways to solve things, and you as a DM have to be able to adjust on the fly. Yeah. And if you see your group struggling with a puzzle or a riddle or a trap, we haven't really talked about traps.
We haven't talked about traps yet.
If you see your group struggling because they just can't figure it out, step in and help them.
Yeah, and take your group dynamic into account when you put it together. If you put a trap, or if you put a puzzle together that you need magic to solve, and your entire party is fighters and rogues,
you're just an asshole.
Yeah,
but
and if you at the same point, if you have a trap that it's going to be a hard corridor to get down, and the only way to pick it is a rogue, and you don't have a rogue, you're going to expect your entire party of plate mailers to make all the reflex save to avoid spike traps?
I've done traps that cannot be stopped. Like, someone is going to trigger the trap. It's figuring out who's going to trigger it. And my groups know this. And they usually carry poor defenseless animals on them as a result. Like, there's a trap here, send in the donkey.
I cast Mount.
I wish, oh my god. I wish you could cast Mount like it used to be in the old day, where you just summon horses. I was reading a book that they did that a lot. They summoned a lot of horses. And I gotta tell you, that was the coolest fucking thing. I gotta give props to that author. He was great. Because I was thinking to myself, man, that is a dumb spell. Read the book, think about it. Oh shit, that is the best spell. Because you do it outside of just, I need a ride. It's, there's a trap in this room. Horse.
Whoa, horse flesh.
We need something to keep us from being overrun by these goblins. Horse. It's a flesh wall. It sounds horrible. And if you're kind of animal lover, you might not want your party to constantly just abuse animals that
Well,
you encounter,
it's an
even if they are imaginary.
It's an well, not. Meh. It's a summoned fake horse in a fake imaginative game.
Yeah, but horse lives matter, Oliver. Horse lives matter.
Yes.
No, but traps literally, you can come up with so many different ways to solve them. You as a DM needs to be creative. You can do traps that are deadly, like you got hit with the poison arrow that you're going to lose Constitution,
You
or
stepped in a bear trap.
yeah, or you are to lose your leg with that bear trap, or you could just fuck with your players by doing little unnecessary traps like, oh, a small spray of water hits you in the ear. Did that mess with you? Just got you wet. You going to be paranoid about trip lines and things? Yeah. What's really messed up as a DM is to have small, minute traps that don't really hurt you next to very painful, punishing, and deadly traps. Because then if you get the group, they're like, okay, this is the 4th time I've been sprayed with water. Guys, just walk through here. 5th tripwire is a narcotic poison that drops them and they're losing Constitution. That is really dark. I'm not recommending doing that. However, players, if you're sitting out there, don't fuck with your DM because we can do whatever we want.
We are the masters of the universe.
So, as far as traps go, and we're going to do a whole episode just on traps. This is just sort of like a cleansing of your palate, a taste on traps. We're going to do a whole episode on traps in the future, what our best traps ever were, what we're going to do with traps, what kind of traps work best in which kind of sessions.
What are the good triggers for them? Because the trigger for the trap is really important. And someone, you can know, it's like, there's going to be a button across the room. I know my party, this guy is going to run across the room and immediately press the button. That's just what's going to happen.
So you have homework, folks. In the comments down below, I want you to list your best trap you can think of, or the best trap that you've ran into in a session that somebody has made up. So that is what I want to see, because that's some great ideas. I'll tell you, every time I'm running this... Go ahead.
A fun one, always leads to shenanigans, is a trap that body swaps.
Oh, yes. You want to mess with the group right before the big boss battle, the final encounter. Have some way where they all have to swap bodies. And it's just like passing the character sheets around the table. And you're like your wizard's holding your barbarian's character sheet like, what the hell is that one thing where you hit stuff really hard?
Yeah.
It's better when your barbarian's holding your wizard's sheet going, I don't know what any of this means.
Can I take my staff and beat them with it?
If it's Anthony's characters, probably yes.
Yeah, but I think that's a good segue into our final portion, which was hijinks, where weird shit that you can do to your parties.
Oh yeah, weird shit. Everyone can do some random crazy stuff,
or players can do to their DMs.
Oh yeah, like convincing the Chimera that it's drunk and it needs to return. No,
you're spiteful about that, Owen, aren't you?
I am a little butthurt, but that's okay. You guys are getting ready to start that session back at level 10, and I will get my revenge one day on Ulysses L. Latau.
H.
Latau. Sorry.
Ulysses H. Latau is prepared, though he hopes you are not too rough on such a fine gentleman.
All right, Leonardo. Anyway. What we're going to talk about with the hijinks is just some fun examples of things we've done, and we want to also encourage you to list your favorite hijinks from D&D sessions down below.
I know we've told a couple of interesting hijinks in some of our story times, and we're definitely gonna save a bunch more and bring them up later. But
well, we got a lot. I'll tell you what. Here, for the sake of all these people at home, because I'm sure we're getting close to that mark we want to hit our episode in, you give me one of your best hijinks examples, I'll give you one of my best hijinks examples, and I'm sure we're going to share a lot through story times. I just do want people to share on it. So,
well, I know we've talked a lot about the Rod of Random, which is a hijinks example. of just pure unadulterated hijinks.
Some real traditional D&D players don't like that. Like, I've had sessions where they're like, I'm sort of not a fan. And then some people who are casuals are like, oh my god, this is the funniest thing ever. So
one thing, we brought it up when talking with Anthony earlier, is I've done it a couple of times, is if your group's been established, you know your people are really into their characters now for a while.
Made you yawn again. Sorry.
Yeah. Or, moving forward, give them a run-in with something that's non-threatening, but completely over their head.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I ran them into a, like, mythic level over 20 wizard that was just batshit.
Playing with them?
Yeah.
Like a cat with a mouse.
Yeah. Just having fun, and I think a couple of them got turned into animals, and then they had to fight a giraffe as a monkey, and it was...
That sounds like fighting Nefarian in the last wing of BWL. No, very similar. I like to throw randomness at my players. My hijinks example would be, I liked when you literally throw them in a situation where they don't know what to do. Shrink your party and make them fight a house cat.
Betrayal at the House on the Hill.
Yeah, exactly.
Pull on other games.
Video games, board games.
I ran through a session where they were playing Left 4 Dead in D&D. They had hordes of zombies that were pretty much always coming at them, and they had to navigate through a city while there were hordes of zombies.
That's pretty great. I'm just yawning all over the place tonight. But that sort of figures up where we are in hijinks. We want you to give us examples. So tell your friends, share the channel, do stuff. Listen, my goal is not get thousands of subscribers. If that happened, that'd be great. What I want you guys to do is just share with one friend. I want more people who love D&D to watch this because we put the time into it to make it. And I think that it would be awesome to build a community through it.
Yeah.
So that's sort of our go-to out. And I appreciate you guys having the time. And is there anything you want to add, Oliver?
I can't think of anything for today. I guess we'll see you next week. And
yeah. Until next time, guys. And we might do this week, if we have time after D&D, we might do some like 4 or 5 people episodes. We'll see around the old dining room table. I'd love to have some recorded on app. I know last week thank you for your patience. I was so exhausted and busy in computer troubles. We weren't able to do an episode last week, and it was nice of Oliver to hop on and give you guys an announcement about that. But we hope not to skip any more weeks. We're going to try to get some in the tank recorded so that we can pull them out if we're having an emergency week. So, guys, until next time, Slice and Dicers, don't roll too many ones.